Attention passionate New York Giants fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC East and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on New York Giants' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true New York Giants fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your friends and New York Giants fans. Let's get to the news, all right. Folks, buckle up because what I'm about to tell you could be a game changer for the Giants, defense, and frankly, for our entire franchise's future. Rumors are swirling that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers might be looking to shake things up by trading Antoine Winfield Jr. The Giants, and if this deal goes down, it could have profound implications on how we see our defense shaping up for the upcoming season. Now I know what you're thinking. Another trade rumor, right? But listen, this isn't just some idle speculation. This move, if it happens, could be as impactful as when Minkah Fitzpatrick moved to the Steelers back in 2019. It's that kind of shakeup that can define a team's trajectory, especially in a division as competitive as the NFC East. First, let's talk about who Antoine Winfield Jr. is and why he's such a hot commodity right now. Drafted in 2020, this guy has been a cornerstone for the Bucs secondary. Over his 6-year career, he's been a ball hawk, making plays, creating chaos for quarterbacks, and providing the kind of leadership that can elevate an entire defense. With 300 solo tackles, 120 assists, 15 sacks, 12 interceptions, and 8 forced fumbles, Winfield is the kind of versatile safety that every team dreams of. He's known for his instinctive play, his ability to read the quarterback's eyes, and his knack for making big plays when it counts. Last season alone, he racked up 40 tackles, 25 assists, and 2.5 sacks, along with an interception returned for 30 yards and 2 forced fumbles. His PFF grade consistently hovers around the high 80s, with coverage grades near 89, making him one of the most reliable safeties in the league. Now the whispers suggest that the Bucs are willing to part ways with Winfield because they're facing some roster and cap challenges. They're sitting on a cap space of around $13 million, but with the deal for Mayfield and their current needs, mainly adding depth on the defensive line and bolstering their wide receiver and offensive line units, they're considering a rebuild. Tampa's management seems to see Winfield as a valuable piece they can move to free up cap space and focus on other priorities. It's a tough call for the Bucs because losing a leader like Winfield weakens their secondary, especially given the recent trends of teams allowing more big plays. In fact, since losing Lattimore, the Saints have seen their aerial yards allowed spike by over 140 yards per game. Tampa's defense, which was once a formidable unit, has seen its big play allowance increase by more than 19%, and that's a red flag for any team with Super Bowl aspirations. So what does this mean for the Giants? Well, if we can land Winfield Jr., it would be a major boost for our backfield, especially given the current injuries and gaps we're facing. Our safeties, particularly McKinney, would get a serious upgrade in depth, and the whole secondary would be looking at a potential increase in turnover creation and pass coverage efficiency. Think about it. Adding Winfield could push our interception total from around 9 to potentially 20, turning the whole secondary into a real ball-hawking unit. His presence would elevate our coverage efficiency by roughly 17%, and it could help reduce the points allowed per game from around 25. 8 to closer to 19, which is a massive difference. Moreover, the analytics back this up. Winfield's style of play is aggressive but disciplined. He's a technician in coverage, especially against tight ends and slot receivers, which has been a weak spot for us in recent seasons. Against opponents like Dallas and Philly, having a safety who can match up with the likes of Goedert or their speedy TEs could be crucial. Not to mention, his ability to come down in blitz packages adds a new dimension to our defense, with Dart stepping in at quarterback, allowing him to generate more turnovers, potentially boosting our total interceptions and forced fumbles, becomes more feasible with Winfield in the fold. And let's not forget the psychological factor. Winfield's proven ability to come up with clutch plays, especially in tight situations, could make a difference in close games. His knack for creating turnovers, like his 12 career interceptions and his 8 forced fumbles, means we'd be looking at a secondary that's not just solid but dangerous. For the Giants, that's a game changer. It's about shifting the momentum, turning defense into offense, and creating those game-changing moments that define playoff runs. With Winfield, we're talking about a player who could be the missing piece in our quest to finally get back to the Super Bowl. Now, I know some skeptics might point out that losing a leader in the secondary could be a risk, especially considering Tampa's reasons for trading him. But the Giants have shown in recent years a real knack for identifying talented players who fit their system and culture. McKinney is still developing into a true leader back there, and with someone like Winfield, we're talking about a pairing that could be dominant for years. From a strategic standpoint, bringing in a player of Winfield's caliber makes perfect sense. His instincts and playmaking ability would complement our existing personnel and give us options to match up against the NFC's best offenses. Looking at the big picture, this move could be part of a larger shift in the division. The Giants, under Brian Daboll and with Daniel Jones leading the offense, are on the rise. Adding a player like Winfield Jr. to the defense could be the final piece to turn us into a true contender. The NFC East is stacked, but with a stronger secondary, we could be better equipped to handle the likes of the Cowboys and Eagles, especially considering how much those teams rely on explosive plays and tight coverage. And as we inch closer to the season, the odds are already favoring some teams more than others, but a strategic acquisition like Winfield could tilt the scales in our favor. If the Giants manage to pull this off, it could boost our chances of making a deep playoff run, maybe even pushing us into the Super Bowl conversation. The betting odds are already shifting, with some sportsbooks rating the Giants' Super Bowl chances at plus 18000, an indication that the right moves could change that outlook dramatically. Plus, with Winfield's ability to generate plus 0.33 EPA in clutch situations, he could be the X factor that elevates our entire team. Of course, these are just early signs and rumors, but the potential is enormous. The Giants have been building a solid foundation, improving our offensive line, developing young talent, and now, possibly, upgrading the secondary with a proven playmaker like Winfield. It's an exciting time for us fans because it feels like we're on the verge of something special, something that could finally put us back on top of the NFC East and make us legitimate Super Bowl contenders once again. So, as we wait for official confirmation, keep your eyes peeled because this could be the move that turns our entire season around. Imagine the impact of Winfield Jr. in our backfield, his instincts, his ball-hawking skills, and his ability to turn the tide of any game. If this deal happens, it's not just a win for the Giants. It's a statement that we're all in to compete at the highest level, that we're not just building for the future, but aiming for greatness right now. And now, New York Giants fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Giants. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Giants news. This offseason is shaping up to be one of the most exciting in recent memory, and we're right here, front and center, ready to bring you all the action. Let's go Giants!